welcome to yet another adventure of how I spent the apocalypse. So I built this box to look like a busted treasure chest and then planted plants in it about 20 years ago.
Right.
And as you can see, it's dying the death.
Yeah, it's falling apart. Yeah.
It's falling apart. So I'm about to build something else to go here, which will also be kind of piratey. I'm going to build an old wheelbarrow out of some parts that I have and use it as a planter here.
Cool.
And I actually have a planter here because I want people to not be able to go around the moat.
Right, right.
Everybody has a moat, right?
Right, right. See?
Yeah,
Everyone,
there's no water in the moat.
I know there's no water right now, but it's a moat with a dragon in it.
This moat is here because otherwise this yard flooded. The yard used to flood. I put the moat in, and if you can go over there, you can see there's a hole there that pipes it out to the drainage ditch. So this way it catches the water that collects on the yard and keeps it from flooding. And we have a moat, which everyone needs a moat around their castle.
Yeah.
You know, what kind of, with a sea serpent in it.
Yes, yes.
So, there you go.
That you sculpted.
Yes, I sculpted this sea. Have we ever talked about it?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I sculpted this sea serpent. He's also 20 years old. He's in really good shape because he was made with concrete and then sand mix. Like I said, the statues I made where I used masonry mix, which is much easier to sculpt in, they don't last.
No.
The masonry mix busts, but this is like 20 years old and he's still in really good shape.
Yep,
He's the same age as the
box.
As the box. So cement does better than wood. Who would have guessed it?
Oh my
I'm
God.
so shocked. I think that I started building so much stuff out of concrete because we went to see the Greater Tombs of China exhibit a bazillion years
in Memphis,
ago when it was in Memphis.
Yeah.
We went to see the Greater Tombs of China exhibit, and they had blocks from the Great Wall that were 40 bazillion years old. They were old. And when I looked at them, they weren't rock. They were concrete.
Right.
They were concrete. And so then I was like, I'm building everything out of concrete. Because the Great Wall was built out of concrete.
Yeah.
So not all of the blocks, but a lot of them, they're concrete blocks.
Yeah.
And they're stamped with the Emperor's seal and all this shit. But at any rate, and they probably built them a whole lot of the same way that I build mine, which is they had a mold. They poured them full of concrete and then popped them out of the mold when they were dry.
Right.
So, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a new flower bed to go there, and I'm going to build it using some parts. Okay, so this was originally connected to that thing over there, and it was a pump-up spraying system that used that tank, and that thing pumped it up. Okay, so I had it in the yard forever, and I had plants planted in that.
Right.
Okay, but I decided but the handles rusted out, and the body was rusting out, and I decided to take it down because sometimes you just get bored with shit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to get something else for handles, and I'm going to take this tank off of here. I'm going to see what I can actually get salvaged. If I can salvage these U-bolts, that would be cool because I could reuse them to put the bottom on my flower bed.
Oh,
but
cool.
Here's the problem with that. The problem with that is these are super rusted.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'll do is I will try this. Okay. So what I normally do to try to get it where I can take off things like those nuts is I spray them. You can either spray them, I just spray them with an all-purpose lubricant. KY will not work. Not that kind of lubricant, you city folks. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to just spray the shit out of it. I want to get all of them because I'd like to, if I could get them off, that'd be great. That one's already busted off. But I've got 3 of them, and that should be a good start. And I have to think of some way to extend these handles. Now I have a welder,
Yes.
so I could weld them on. I don't feel like doing that. So I'm going to try to find a piece of pipe that's actually small enough to fit in there. A metal piece of
Or
pipe.
large enough to be snug on the outside, one or the other.
Or yeah, big enough to be on the outside. Why would I want to do that?
I don't know, baby. I don't know. I don't know.
I could do that too.
I know nothing.
And I could actually, if I have to, I'll use PVC because after all, I'm not going to use it for a wheelbarrow.
Right.
So it's mostly just for show.
Oh, and you could just spray it and it would just be...
Exactly.
Yeah,
I could
exactly.
just spray it brown to match the
Yeah,
rust.
yeah.
I could just spray it rust colored. But anyway, okay. So that's the start of this project. And who knows, it may take me days to get around to doing this project because the weather's screwy. And one of the things I have to do, here's the problem with having more than one shop. I know a lot of you are jealous that I have more than one shop, but the problem is that I constantly run into this problem where are my tools? Are most of the tools I need for a project in that shop, or are most of the tools I need for a project in this shop?
Right.
Okay, so the first thing I have to do now is find out where most of my tools are.
Well, and that lubricant has to sit a while. It doesn't happen.
That lubricant, in order to have any chance of that actually making that come off of there, it's going to have to sit for a while. So...
Okay, so we'll come back to this?
We'll come back to it. Okay, so to get frozen bolts off, a couple of tools you can use. One of them's vice grips, which, believe it or not, do not work as well on severely frozen bolts as pipe wrench. Pipe wrench will go on there and it'll kind of give you traction and allow you to get some motion on it. Or not, as the case may be. Yes, very dyslexia rears its ugly head. I was tightening it instead of loosening it. Alright. So, this would be easier if that freaking clip wasn't in the way. So, I'm going to fix that little fucker right now. That's the key that's holding the wheel on. That's right, people. See this little key things? That's all that's between you and death in your car, too.
Yeah, cotter pins.
In case you even ever wanted to know that.
Yeah,
Probably did not want to know that, no. That's my wife's one pin theory.
Yep.
She doesn't trust bridges because she knows somewhere there's one pin holding the whole damn thing together. Okay, so, oh, it's moving. So,
Yay.
hopefully, I can get those suckers off of there. You know, if I can get the damn head on it. Oh, they're moving, so.
Yay!
But that doesn't mean anything, because you've got rust. That's why you spray the whole thing, because you've got rust all the way to the end of that. This is ancient, by the way. God only knows I've had it for... How long have we been together? 29 years? I've probably had this at least 26 years. And it was ancient before that. You don't see these metal wheels coming past what, the 20s?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
It's not something common that I can see.
But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on getting these off.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you, okay, so why did I wind up at this little shop instead of the big shop? Because I only had to move 2 tools to work over here. To work over there, I would have had to move half the shop to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, why are all my tools over here instead of my main shop? Because all of the projects that I have to do in the last part of winter, early part of spring, when it's really kind of, you don't know what the weather's going to do, all of them are over here.
Yes.
So my tools migrated over here when I was doing projects over here. Now I still have most of the projects over here. And so that's what we're doing.
Okay.
So I'm not going to have her watch me take all these bolts off.
Okay, well, come back then. Okay.
Okay, and so what I didn't tell you and meant to was that before I could work in this shop, I had to move an entire carload of stuff that my friend Steve didn't want and that he knew I could use or sell or something. He's moving from Arkansas to Florida, and he doesn't want to dick with trying to sell this stuff, and certainly doesn't want to move it, and he knows that I use stuff. So here's what happens. When people know that you use stuff, they will call you. They will bring it over, okay? You have to get it, okay? And then you have to make it work for you, because you don't want them to think you don't appreciate it. Because the fact is that even if they bring you something you can't use, maybe somebody else can.
Right, and then they won't think of you next time.
And the idea is for one hand to wash the other.
Right.
They don't want to throw this stuff away. It's good stuff, but they don't want it, and they don't want to dick with it.
Right.
So you're helping them by taking it. So help them by taking it. Don't pick through it and say, well, I don't want that.
Yeah.
And if you go to pick it up, you take it all. If they want a pile of shit hauled off, you take all of it.
Yep.
Even if half of it's stuff you don't know when you're going to use it. You can sell it for scrap. You can put it in a yard sale. You can give it away to somebody else who could use it. But the idea is, like I said, one hand washes the other. Okay, so here you just see why shit like that doesn't work. This ancient bolt, as I almost had it halfway off, it sheared off.
Yeah. So that U-bolt's not any good?
So it might be. If I can get one side of it off, believe it or not, no, both sides broke.
No?
Okay, so both sides of that broke. So that's not going to work, but it is off.
Yay.
And it was worth a shot.
And now you have scrap metal.
Ooh, I might be able actually to make that if I could get it to catch on that. But yeah, I have scrap metal. Whoop-dee! Okay, but yeah, that didn't work. Hopefully we can get at least one of these. If I could get these two, I wouldn't have to get into my U-bolt
Storage.
It's not like I don't have U-bolts.
Yeah.
I do have U-bolts. I would rather use these instead of getting in the stuff that's new.
Yep.
And or used that I took off another job, because
still
guess
functional.
what? I still got to take these off.
Yep.
And no, it's not easier to remove them with the chop saw, because as you see, it's like, yes, it would be easier to cut it there and there, and there and there with the chop saw. But if I can get the damn things off, I can use them.
Yep.
And why not try?
Yep, I got you.
I'm not losing anything but trying. By trying, I'm not losing anything but a little time, and probably not that much time, like I said, sometimes. Okay, for instance, depending on how hard that metal is,
Yeah.
I might go through an entire cutting disc.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I don't want to waste the cutting discs either. I'd rather save them. I got some pipe to cut. See, I found in my junkyard, I found some pipe that I can use to extend this. It goes right inside there. I'll slide it all the way up. I'll probably drill some holes in this and screw it in. Although I don't have to, because if I put U-bolts in the bottom of it here and the bottom of it's there, that holds the whole damn thing. Because it's not like I'm going to use it as a wheelbarrow.
Right.
So, yeah, so I'll cut the handles, and that's what we're doing.
Awesome.
We're building a flower bed.
Yay.
And as you could see, my tulips really needed to be transplanted out of that anyway. They were too close together, so. Tulips are kind of a pain in the ass, people, because tulips have to be basically transplanted every year.
Yeah, they have to be
which
thin.
doesn't happen. You have to pull them up and then separate the bulbs, or they don't do well. And that's kind of a pain in the ass. Gladiolas are the same way. Love them both. Usually plant them one year and then they never do well after that because I don't dig them up. But these tulips will get dug up this year, so we'll have a good bloom this spring.
Yay!
And then from then on, probably nothing. 'Cause I have 40 billion things to do. As you've no doubt noticed as we make these things, I have 40 billion things to do and 40 billion chores, and I'm always doing something new. I've always got a new project on my plate, and see, that one's sheared off too.
Yep.
So sometimes, okay, what did I teach you? Sometimes you can't save the old bolts.
Yeah.
That's a good lesson for you today.